Hello. Today I'm here to talk to you about something that's near and dear to my heart. Sort of. Some of you will care, some of you won't. Scroll on! But today I'm here to talk about graphic novels. Now, if you're an author who really wants to have their work turned into a graphic novel, if you think kind of in movies, and you really can't afford to have a movie made of your work, then graphic novels are a lovely and terrifyingly expensive way to just fill that void. So I'm going to discuss some things that I didn't know, which was everything, and some things that I have found out since, which are quite a few things. And one by one, I'm going to tackle these subjects, and ideally, I'll stop watching the kitten video over my shoulder. So, yep. So this series will be about how graphic novels start from the point of view of the author, and all the people that you need to meet along the way. The first person that you need to find is someone who can draw your concept art. Now, concept art means, I know what the characters look like! You have someone do the character design, so you need to find a very specific type of artist to do that. Some people are much better at doing the serial art, which is the frame by frame by frame by frame, or panel by panel by panel. And some people can listen to you nitpick about the hair needs to fall here, the scar needs to go there. In my case, there's an H right here. Put an H right here. First time they did it, it was an M. You need somebody that you can just go over the cover art or the character designs with until you have what you want. Because that's going to kind of shape every other person you deal with along this pathway. So, being old, which I am, very, so I went to Facebook. For that is where I was most comfortable. And I found a group online of people who do professional comics and graphic novels. They are people who are in that group to find jobs, work. I'll get into paid work and unpaid work later, but that is where they hang out, and that is where if you ask them to do it for free, they will tell you to go blow. And rightly so. If you're an author, you get paid to sell your work. Why don't they get paid to sell their art? Anyway, so first thing you need is to find someone who can do character design for you. Or it's called a turnaround. So that's front, back, and side images of your character. So you know what they look like. And so that if you use a different illustrator or artist later, they know what the character looks like in a 360. For example, if the character has folded wings, you really want to see the back as well as the front, because the front won't give you an idea of what's going on back there. They could have a tail. They could have, horns or a third eye sticking out of the back of their head. You need to get someone to do that turnaround. And you need it for every main character or every main occupation. If you have armored characters, or if you have armed forces, if you have a slave population, if you have a merchant culture, if you have, people who wear clothing in a very specific way for a very specific purpose, you need that drawn out so that people can chuckle along with it later. Once you do that, you find a writer. Now you'll say, hey, I'm a writer. I know what I'm doing. And it's like, when it comes to scripts, no, you don't. Script writing is a different animal. They take a look at the source material and they break down the action sequences, the romantic sequences, the speaking sequences, and they turn it into tiny little lines of dialogue that tell the artist what to draw, because the artist is drawing a photograph. Yes, I'm old. It's drawing. They're drawing a still for each kind of captured emotional sequence, and it has to be accurate. And you want to know who's saying what to whom, and there can't be too much back and forth because they're talking in bubbles, talking in tiny little bubbles. So you want to make sure that those things have room. So if they're talking a lot, they have to go on to the next panel and then the next panel. And a good scriptwriter will know this. I have tried it myself. I'm not bad at it, but I'm not good at it. I can't do it with any kind of speed or accuracy. I start turning it into a novel halfway through. It turns into a paragraph. I have to go back and undo it. It's not attractive. So, all right. So you find a scriptwriter. Again, you go up and you say, I'm looking for a scriptwriter. Actually, in the first one, you would say, I'm looking for a character design. I'm looking for character designs. I need someone who is good at drawing. Bleh. Some people will be good at drawing men, women, dogs, cats, alien races, worm races, insectoids, whatever you've got, sweet. You have to figure out your style. Do you want it manga style? Do you want it gritty? Do you want it classic? Do you want it like child animation? These are all things you have to think about, and you have to write it down before you get there, because they don't like to waste their time. You don't need to waste your time. All right, so you have your character design with your turnarounds. You have your script that you and the scriptwriter have gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and everybody's been paid. You want to keep everybody paid. And again, payment depends on the person, so ask them that. So now you want to find your line art person, the person who will draw it in black and white. Some people will draw in black and white and color. I happen to have that in one of my graphic novels. I currently have 4 up and running. One is finished. One is almost finished. Just needs to be colored. Yeah. One is at the letterer. We'll get to them later. All right. So you have your script. You're very excited. You have your character designs. You're very excited. You are looking for your line art / panel artist / whatever, just comic book artist. You want that, the style that you want. You've done your research. You've figured it out. You've figured out how much you want to pay or how you can pay. If you can only pay $200 every 2 months, say it. They will work slower. You will still get the project done, and it'll still be done by the same person. Lying about your financing only frustrates you and them, and it gives you a bad reputation. You don't want a bad reputation because everybody talks to everybody else. It's delightful. So you pay. You're willing to pay. So you say that you are looking for an artist for this style comic, this genre. You're paying cash, or you want to pay, if you think you can pay with royalty exchange. That is between you and them. You make those decisions. You're big folks. You can figure it out yourselves. So, but somebody's got to get paid, and somebody's got to be shelling out the money. These are important things to remember. This whole working for exposure. Nobody needs to expose themselves that badly, and there are better places to do it. Anyway, so you get your artist, and you and your artist have some discussions. You show them the concept sketches. You take a look at their portfolios. This is so important. So very important. We'll just give a slight scenario. I'll talk about this more, about the disaster of one of my first books, but you want to make sure that they draw the characters in a kind of respectful way to the art. My characters, or my books are very kind of female driven, right? The main character is always female. Just because, I'm not going to write a male lead, because there are plenty of comic books out there with male leads, so why bother with that? It's been done. So leave that to people who are better suited for it. That's That's my thing. It's like, just leave it for people who can pick it up and come to it more naturally than I can. I can't. I start giggling. It's a sad situation. So, so we got the characters that, all right. Yeah. So you want to look at the portfolios. I saw more women in the drawn format being tortured, abused, stomped on, enslaved, collared, cuffed, just any number of really nasty scenarios. And these were just in portfolios. I was like, how do you draw women? And they're like, oh, well, check my portfolio, and I did, and oh my god. And it's like, I wanted to file a restraining order for some of those poor ladies. So make sure that you and the artist that you're working with are kind of at least on the same level, emotionally, when it comes to dealing with these characters. Because if you're not, you're going to be very unhappy with the end result. That comes later. I will explain what happened there later. But so we're talking about colorists. So the last one we were talking about the line artist, drawing all your comic books. You paid them as they've gone away, as they've gone on. If you have extra money, if you got like a side gig, I got a cat hair. No, it's just a fluff. All right. No, it's still there. It's still there. Triumph. So you had your, let's see, line artist, colorist. Right, colorist is next. So your colorist can begin as soon as your line artist is finished with the page and as soon as you're satisfied with it. If you're getting line art done, if you're unhappy with anything on the page, tell them. Tell them right then. Tell them. Because if you don't tell them, they don't know. And if they don't know, you will go all the way saying that, the ship looks wrong, the car is wrong, the character is wrong, the character's right-handed, not left-handed, and it was always drawn left-handed. You have to tell them. And then after you tell them, and after you have a nice line art page that you're satisfied with, you can continue on. A lot of times they will give you sketch pages first, which are very, very handy. The draft pages. They're messy. They're very gross. But they give you an idea of where everything is and how the characters are interacting. And so you get a feel for what's going on the page. So then you go off to the colorist. La la la. Now the colorist is a separate person. In most cases, throughout this entire process, any one of the people that you're dealing with can recommend you somebody to help you with the next stage. If you have a good rapport with the first person, with the scriptwriter, or with the person who does the cover art design, or the character design. Cover art design is the last thing. The character design person and the person who does the line art could be the same person. They very well could be the same person. But some people prefer to do the new stuff constantly, and it sparks their brain a little better and it makes them happier. So, which is absolutely fine. To each their own. My books are not everybody's taste. My books are certain people's taste, and they are very happy with it, and it makes them feel happy, and they're relaxed, and they enjoy themselves while they're reading it, and then they're out of it. Short stories are great that way. They're in, they're out. So I'm sorry about the umming. I'm getting used to doing this. So, colorist, right? So you get your colorist. You make sure that they're working with the palette that you like, that your eyes are pleased with. You can ask them to do the same page in different colors to kind of get a feel for it. If it's hot, cold, too yellow, too blue, too red, to whatever. And tell them. If they're doing it for a living, then they can take the criticism, because you're paying them to produce a product. You are not paying them to go to produce the Mona Lisa. You are paying them to create a product for you, to complete a product. You've created the initial product in your source material, which is usually a short story. A novella will make a lovely sized graphic novel. A full novel would probably do 2 or 3. Okay, So now on to the letterer. The letterer is the person who draws those little bubbles with those little tags and puts the tiny little words in from the script. We're still working from the script that was prepared for you, or the one that you prepared yourself. You got Stanley's book of writing or how to write scripts for comics, and you took care of it. So anyway, regardless. So they have the tiny words. There are no lowercase letters. They're all uppercase letters for ease of reading. There is punctuation. There are no quotation marks. Well, there's certain situations if something is being quoted. That's just like in a book. You know, if something's being taken out of frame, then you have to deal with that. Anyway, so the letterer goes through and puts the little bubbles on the page, in the panels, in the frames, page by page, and then you have to edit them. Yes, you sitting there in the chair looking at me going, why am I listening to this blue-haired weirdo? Because I've done it. I've done it twice. And once it was great, and once it wasn't. So you go through it with a letterer. Again, you interview them first. You take a look at their work. You see if they have respect for the art, if they block too much of the art, if they go over a character's face. You want to know where the letterer is going to put the bubbles. You want to know how the letterer is going to arrange things. And you want to pick your font. Your font is important. There are any number of fonts that are suitable for science fiction, fantasy, romance, whatever. I'm old. I have to wear reading glasses, which is why I got these little suckers on. And I like a nice, plain, boring font. It's Comica Hands, like hands, Comica with a K. It's very easy to read. It's clean. Letters are nice together, but you can still very legible. And they snug up really nice. So that is my favorite. And that has been used for the book that I have here. Anyway, so after you see the lettering, you have to go through and you have to edit it again. So you look to make sure that the right character is talking at the right time, because sometimes it gets a little blurry when they're writing the script as to whom is talking when. And you have to make sure the bubbles go to the right people, that the pacing is right, and that the phrasing is right, because you may want to like tighten it up a little or expand on something. And as long as you're communicating with your letterer, this can happen. Huzzah! So then you are completely finished with the lettering. You are so excited. Now, we're talking about cover art. So when you're dealing with cover art, you're looking for something that's a little more grand, a little more kind of widespread, a little open, something that describes the content of your work without being specific. It can be in reference to a specific scene that you have in the book, something that doesn't give away the ending but is kind of a pivotal scene, or it can be referencing. It can refer to something. I'm going to use my cover here because I have it in my hand. This is just the proof. This is not the final, but so this is the Covert Dragons, the unborn out of wedlock dragon. I don't know if I can say that on TikTok, so I didn't even know TikTok existed when I wrote this book. Actually, I don't think it did when I wrote the original book. So anyway, this is the graphic novel, right? This is the cover. The cover was done by a completely different artist than everything inside. So I also had someone format this for me, which is, again, more money, which is why this process can take years. If you have somebody in your life who can draw and who wants to work with you on the project and they'll go 50-50, take advantage. Take complete advantage. For me, this is tax deductions, right? It's money I'm spending to create a book that hopefully will make its money back. So this was made by one person. This was created by someone else. This and this were also created by someone else. And then this is the actual comic beginning. So it's a fun process, and this is one of my favorite. This is a favorite page spread. This is happening at a baby shower. I told you, I write for ladies. So in this particular case, the nice lady on the cover, who had brunette hair at the time, gets in a bit of a fracas with an upper class lady at a baby shower, and finds out that she's a dragon. She's in fact, so nice to be able to show people. She's in fact this dragon. So, with the Kickstarter just around the corner, I wanted to talk to people who are like, "Oh, I wish I could get a graphic novel done of my work," and it's like it costs money, it costs time. This is not a fast process by any stretch of the imagination. If you have somebody who can work on it full time, sure, I am no doubt that you could have a full graphic novel done in about 6 months, and you would have some people who were like gibbering and drooling after they were done, because to create reliable artwork where the characters look like they're supposed to, where the art looks like it's supposed to, and where the words are what they are supposed to be, takes effort. It takes a lot of effort. It takes focus. It takes time. So, if you're looking into it at all, if you have like one manuscript you absolutely have to see before you die, start now. So, and later on, I'm going to speak about the disaster that was my first graphic novel that I actually discarded after the artwork was complete. Why? Because I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't speak up for myself. I didn't defend my characters. I didn't have cut and dried artwork, like solid character designs. I never spoke to the scriptwriter, who turned out was a giant tool who hated women. Really, he doesn't like women. So he had taken everything in the work and he had just smashed it flat. And the artist just wrote or just drew what was in the script. And the script was bad. When it was done, I couldn't look at it. It was just bland. Anyway, that's a video for another day. If I switch t-shirts, it's another day. Thank you for listening to my VI talk. It's not really a TED talk. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.